the process of foreclosure. And
no, not familiar with that at all.
do you want to learn that? We can talk about other stuff as well, but it's interesting because in that is profit centers. Knowing that process. For instance, it's really, really hard to buy properties with any real equity in them at foreclosure auctions recently. In this period of time, the last few years, people are bidding at the auctions 90, 95, even 100% of the value of the property.
Right.
There's a $100,000 property down there and it's going for $98,000. What are we doing?
Mm-hmm.
Right? By the time we take it, we get it just as is. We don't get to do inspections of it. We bought it at the foreclosure auction. You get inside, you feel, they blew up the toilets with cherry bombs or whatever they did. Now that's how you have it. That's a razor thin margin. And then we're going to list it up and sell it with a realtor. That realtor costs, whatever that might be. All things being equal, it's a really hard way to do it. But as lenders, the fact that people are bidding so much to buy those properties, now we don't have to rely just on the borrowers for repayment. We can rely on the fact that the process of foreclosure takes it right to the auction and people are paying off all the underlying mortgages from the auction. Right?
Right.
So when you're in a property, I'm going to back up. When you're a lender and you have a position against a piece of property, I'm just going to divide this up into 4 pieces: a first, a second, a third, and a fourth. What the process is whoever is doing the foreclosure, whoever started the action, whoever's not getting paid, has the obligation to keep anybody that is superior to them, keep their loan payments and the terms of their loan current while they're doing their action. So let's say Bob Borrower here, he borrowed the money from, I'm going to put Lisa Lender. Okay. Now Lisa comes in, she says, I'm going to divide these into equal pieces, 25,000 each. First, second, third, and fourth. And the property is worth 100,000. So Lisa is in second position for 25,000. Underlying is 25, and now we'll just put, B of A on there. And then we'll, whatever person is in third position, I don't care. Well, let's just call that, Joe. So Joe's in third for 25. And fourth position, let's just call this a lien. All right? So here you have a lien in place. This is what causes a lot of these foreclosures. It's a judgment that was entered against somebody. It's a outstanding medical bill. And sometimes you'll see these liens exceed the value of the property like crazy. Mm-hmm. I mean, it might be $250,000 worth of liens against a $100,000 house. That's destined to go to the foreclosure auction because it needs an action in order to clear off all the other liens. Okay, so Bob here isn't paying Lisa, and Lisa starts the action. Lisa doesn't have to worry about the third or the fourth position at all. As a matter of fact, the fourth has to look after all these underlying positions and keep them current. So the fact that there's a fourth position on the property, Lisa knows that Bob is obligated to pay, plus Joe, and plus a lien on the property. So she has 3 people that she can get payment from because she has a second position on the property. Joe only has one person, the lien. They have Bob and the lien. Now, this process here, depending on the state, but it's about 4 months long. It's about 120 days to do a foreclosure action. It's the fact that they didn't pay, so you serve them notice you didn't pay. You give them a certain amount of time to make it up. If they don't, it sets the property for sale at the public auction 90 days from the period of time that they gave the action or the started the action. Okay. So when it gets to the auction, Lisa hires an attorney, a trustee, they call it, And the trustee goes down there and Lisa says, I want you to bid my amount of this lien with all of the foreclosure costs and the interest rate that haven't been paid and default rates that I haven't been paid. I want you to bid all of those amounts into the first auction bid that you're going to call out. So the trustee goes down and says, hear ye, all the people having business with the blah, blah, blah. And let's just say that ends up being $26,000. Okay. It's about $1,500 to do a foreclosure action there, but so let's call it $26,500. Okay. Plus interest, we'll call it $27,000. So $27,000, her initial was $25,000. So they say, anybody here that will bid more than $27,000 for this property? And then you have a whole group of people that are there and they're buying, they're investors. Ooh, I'll buy it's 27,000 plus 25 underlying. Because if they buy this, they're buying it subject to an underlying first. I've seen people lose thousands of dollars at the foreclosure sale, not understanding that the person doing the foreclosure was foreclosing on a junior position mortgage, and they were going, wow, it's $27,000 for a $100,000 property. Okay. Or maybe it was a fourth position that was doing it, and they call out $27,000. Yeah, they're bidding it up and all this stuff, and they don't realize, oh, I just bought a property, but there's still $75,000 in debt on it. Mm-hmm. Right. So all of these people out here that are bidding it up, and they bid it up, and let's say that it sells for $80,000. Okay. So here's what happens. The trustee has $80,000 in their pocket. They say to Bank of America that's in first, how much is your payoff? Oh, $25,000 because Lisa kept them current. So $25,000 gets done and their mortgage is eliminated. Then Lisa comes up and they say, how much are you owed? $27,000. And so $27,000 goes to Lisa and hers is gone. Who's next? Joe. Joe now gets all of his money or whatever's left. And if there's any money left after Joe's paid off in full, then the lien gets the rest of it. Maybe it's only $2,000. The title is clean now. It's gone. It's totally washed, and the new buyer has it free and clear. That's what they have at the auction. But the fact that there's so many people bidding it up makes it more likely that as a lender, if the borrower doesn't pay, the people at the auction will pay enough to wipe out your debt, provided that you use common sense loan to value rules and positioning, right? So if you're on here, you don't want to loan, you just kind of draw a line. How much would you want to own $100,000? What would make that a good deal for you today? 70? Okay.
Probably, yeah.
70% then. That's your line on that particular property in that particular area. What if it's in the heart of cold country in Alaska? Maybe that goes down. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's more valuable because, okay, and then we'll go to 75. That's the only thing you really have to decide. You have to go, what area do I want and how do I find them? It is so easy to find properties that need to be funded. It is so heavily weighted on people looking for money, and there's not as many people that are doing loans because it's just not, I get on and I click it and I buy it and I don't know what I'm looking at. So they have to educate themselves. And that's, like what you've done. You go, oh, that's interesting.